G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Trewin. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone. Today I'm interviewing Alexandra Terrey from the Mentoring Effect based in Brisbane, Australia. Thanks for your time today, Alexandra.
Well, thank you for having me, Troy.
Let's start with how we know each other. A few months ago now, you reached out on our website to come on the cast.
Yeah. I was listening to some of your episodes and I was like, you know what, this is great. Like, let's see if you can chat. And it was nice. Thank you very much for connecting.
Tell our audience a bit about your business, what it does and how it makes money.
Well, we do a lot of coaching. So one-to-one group coaching, helping people to break free and break through, I'll probably say, because we all have different crises in business and life. So basically break free from those crises and help people to go to their higher consciousness where they can really access their genius, their creative mind, and they can really start to make high-level decisions, because I think that's the major problem we have, right, in business. So that's probably in a nutshell.
And so is it just group coaching?
We do one-to-one and group coaching, trying to have only a limited number of clients for one-to-one, of course. And we do a lot of workshops and events and webinars as well, and online programs.
Oh, great. So online courses.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And what do you find the main issues are that you are able to help small business owners with?
I think it's the lack of growth. Everyone comes with a kind of similar problem. Like they feel like there can be more effectiveness. They feel like they run out of the time and they do so much and they stay in the doing every day. And at the end of the Friday, they realize the results really didn't show up. So I think that's the major thing that happened in a business, and it's very normal because it's, we're running on subconscious mind and habits that we created 5 years ago. So now those habits, they don't need to bring any results, even though maybe they brought some results a year ago.
And what are some of the main issues you're finding? Is it things I often see as delegation? Owners were, entrepreneurs were control freaks, and it's really hard for us to let go and delegate things to other team members. Is that you're laughing? So that's one big issue.
I love that. Yeah, we are all little control freaks. So it's definitely delegation. It's hard because when we starting the small business, when we start first year, we're doing everything. We are doing everything ourselves, and we become kind of masters of things. We become master in networking, in marketing, in sales, and we try to do it ourselves. So every time that we probably start to work with someone else is really hard because we expect higher standards and we don't know how to do it. So it is really tough, to get that or go through that transformation in business. And I think that's when the leadership comes in, right? So it's really, really important to understand that you need to have some leadership skill when you actually want to grow your business.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
And how did you start out?
I started 20 years ago, and it was, I had this amazing job in Slovakia, where I'm originally from. And I was in Red Bull, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. It was an amazing job, and I really enjoy it. And I was like, I'm working really hard and a lot. So if I will do this for myself, I'm sure I can make money. So that was kind of my thinking when I started business 22 years ago. And I started the event management company, of course, because I was in events and, marketing, and Red Bull is all about marketing. So I kind of integrated a few things that I learned, and I did it for, I think, 9 years. And after that, I sold the company and I realized that Slovakia is too small for me. So I got these crazy ideas to grow businesses everywhere I go. So I went to Thailand. I stayed there for 3 years and opened my small restaurant and coffee shop. And after that, I was like, okay, it's enough. Like, it's not enough stimulation and growth because it's all holiday place. So I went to Caribbean, opened another business. And after that, basically Perth. And I stayed in Western Australia with my other business for, that was 5 years, but I stayed there for 8 years. So now I'm last 8 months in Queensland. Yay.
Right. And I love Thailand. Whereabouts in Thailand were you based?
I was in Phuket.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And the business in the Caribbean, what kind of business was that?
I was staying around that tourism and sport, and it was all kind of events. And I was really having a little bit of skill, to talk to people and being with people and try to create a little bit of relationships with important strategic partners. So it was really fun. It was more fun. I think, when we are younger, we are looking for like, I want to do more of water sports, so I'm going to do business in water sports. So it wasn't a real, business mindset at that time. I can tell it's probably a little bit embarrassing, but but yeah, I really just did it for fun and with very different mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what year did you start the mentoring effect and how old were you?
Mentoring effect is around 5 years now, and yeah, I think it's five and a half, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
still very fresh. Yeah.
So 2019?
Yes, I think it was around COVID when COVID hit. I think it was that time. That was really like we said, what now people actually need this, so we kind of started
Yeah.
that
And how old were you then 5 years ago?
41.
Right.
I think so. I was like 41 or 42. Oh my God. After 40s, you don't try to really
No,
count. Yeah.
no, that's true.
Oh,
Do you
funny.
have some key numbers you can share to illustrate the growth of the business?
Yeah, look, first year or two was a real struggle. Like we didn't grow much and I did so much stuff for free. And I think every probably small business have that, attitude, like let's help, let's try, let's do as much as we can and get some feedback and try to deliver and test. So I did a lot of that and I really struggled. And after that, I brought a little bit different mindset and a little bit different way of thinking about business. And I started to grow. And it was slow growth, another 2 years or two and a half. But it's probably 1.5 or two years is a massive shift. Like it's really amazing growth, like around 20-25% every year. But it's beautiful to see how we can grow even in 1 week sometimes. So sometimes we have big shifts during the year. And it's almost like a miracle. But yeah, there is not really miracle behind it. I know what happened, but but it's definitely fun. Now the business is fun. Yeah, 5 years ago, no, not really.
So 20% growth per year, that's phenomenal. And how many full-time equivalent team members you started on your own, obviously? How many are up to now?
Yeah, we have 5 people working with us now,
Mm.
and sometimes we have another few people working with us on retreats or events. So that's sometimes volunteers, sometimes paid.
And what do you put the growth down to? Is it uh, word of mouth or better marketing that you've done, or what do you think the catalyst has been?
That's funny. Funny thing is that this will sound weird for people that are very left brain, like analytical and logical, but I'm very much pragmatic. So I'm all about strategy. And I always had, million strategies for events, for workshops, for advertisement, for sales. A lot of coaches, and I always try to do the best. But that was the really important part that I realized I was the one bottleneck in the business. I was in very different state of being and I really shift the subconscious mind because I was actually running on very, very much limiting beliefs, basically. Like this was only way to do it. And I didn't realize that, right? Or this was the right thing to do. And I didn't listen to anyone. I became very inflexible for a while. And it was all connected with personal trauma, personal things that I had to go through. And I realized that they just kind of kicked me and I was in a fear and anxiety and stress and everything was stressing me out, and that was the impatience of business is not growing enough, fast enough. I want all this now. I want to have this. This was my big goal and attachment to this big goal was driving me nuts. So I became very stressed. And after a while, when I changed my state, I realized that people respond different way to me and opportunities just open up. And it was the only thing that I changed was my way of being, how I was in the
Yeah.
meetings, how I was in the business, how I approached the business. So instead of looking at my business from stress and fear perspective, I actually started to look, okay, so if I'm not in stress and fear, what actually I want to create. So that was a little bit of shift. It's probably much more complicated that I can explain here in this short time, but it is, I never been very woo-woo spiritual. So if you ask me, I'm definitely the strategic person, but I truly believe that we are only one that really hold the business back. And sadly, I had to experience that by myself or myself.
When was the moment you felt like you had succeeded?
I think there was when I started. to do a little bit of different routine in the mornings and really start to focus on how I feel, I realized that it was that was the week that was real struggle, for example. And it was if probably 10 months, 1 year ago. It was like really struggling week. We didn't need to finish the sales because there was launch of the program. And I was pushing, I was stressed, and every day I was more and more stressed. And I was like, no, this is not working. And I know already this is not working. So I changed the state, and that all next week I was focusing only on how I feel, how I approach it, what intentions I have. And I really changed my state through meditation, breath work, and all those other practices. And I had incredible sales. Like my sales in 1 week got into 100K. And I was sitting there Friday. I was like, what just happened? And I couldn't believe it. And that's why I don't really share the numbers a lot because it's almost incredible. And I was like, silly me. How how did I go through the week with stress and anxieties and fears? Why I would do that to my business and to myself and to my people? And that was probably the biggest excitement and finding, or yeah, it was amazing feeling. So always when I have bad day, I'm like, no, I will cancel my meeting. I go back and I change my state and I go back to my business and it's going smoothly. So yeah, last probably year or 9, 11 months is absolutely incredible.
Right. What
Yeah.
does success look like to you?
Oh, it's freedom. To me, success is freedom of choice and live the life you want. It's really just having time for yourself, having time to exercise, and not feeling all those normal feelings that we have from limiting beliefs, guilt, shame, fears, like being free of those. To me, that's the biggest gift.
Number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast-growing business?
Change your state. And of course, there is another intention, right? So don't try to show people that you are the best, you are amazing. Show people what can help them. Show people a little bit of value because there is enough, I would say, narcissistic people. They're advertising themselves and showing how amazing they are. And behind the scene, it is not really true so many times. And I had so many clients. They look so great on social media, and they come and they really have big struggles. So I would say go away from social media, go away from perception that is created, by the world, and really think about what do you truly want to create in this world? What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to talk about you? Like, what is that thing that you want to be sure that people know when you have good heart, you want to help, or you have quality business, whatever it is, but really focus on that. That's more important.
Yeah. Have you read Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand?
No, actually, I didn't. I love recommendations.
Yeah, I'll send that through to you. But he's in that book. I was actually in Brisbane at the time, and I was listening to it, running it up and down the river, and got back to the hotel room, opened up my website, and gone, "Fuck!" Made all the mistakes that Miller's talked about in his book. So the website, the homepage was all talking about us, and he took one of the key messages in his book is that you've got to make the prospect the hero, you're the guide. So we've obviously changed our messaging and our approach now, but it's a great book, and it's
Love it.
common, yeah, common practice that business owners or businesses talk all about themselves and forget about the customers.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard because we used to do that, talk about ourselves. Everybody told us you need to show a little bit of your private life. You need to show this. You need to, no,
Mm.
you don't. The thing is just be human and help. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's it.
Yeah.
How did you fund your business?
It was very simple, basically, because I started very early in Slovakia. So every business that I ran, I sold. So it was kind of easy transition. It was not a lot of funding, but it was enough to start business and not being in stress at the
Yeah.
beginning. Even though, later when it didn't work, as I said, 2019, and it was a little bit of struggle, finance was struggle for everyone. So it became a little bit harder. But yeah, it was great to do everything what I earned. Basically, I reinvested. That was the major strategy.
And do you have any, are the business owners you work with only here in Australia, or you got some outside of Australia?
I work a lot with some Europeans. I had some clients in Switzerland and US, in New Zealand. Now also, of course, around Australia in different states, Melbourne, Perth. So sometimes I travel to see them. Sometimes we do online sessions. So both.
And have you looked at the Export Market Development Grant, EMDG?
No, I didn't.
I'll send that through to you as well. So, a
Oh,
guest actually reminded me a couple of years ago. So, she's got online courses and she markets outside of Australia, mainly in the US. So,
yeah.
they will fund half. There used to be three tiers, 40 grand a year, 80 grand a year, 150. They've just removed the 150, but you can still apply for the 40 on the 80 grand. And so they'll match funding and you can spend it on things like meta ads. So 40 grand, you spend 80, they'll pay for half of that, for example.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I would love that. I was looking at the funding last year, but it went really hard with moving. So when moving yourself and moving to different state business as well. So it was kind of challenge to look at how that can run because some people were face to face, and it was comfortable for them. And some people don't like to move to online. So so it was a little bit of challenge, but it went smoothly on actually on my surprise.
Yeah. If you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
Yes, definitely. I will do more, but I will do the same. Yeah, I love what I do.
Can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
I think when you run out of budget that you really truly need, it become a little bit stressful. And when you hire the wrong people and you rely on marketing, sales, and their skills, and they are not what you expected them to be, because you are not the probably great, I guess, evaluator of people, and that was what I was probably through the beginning of the business. So it gets frustrating and it gets really tough because you spend money and you get no results. So you spend money, you pay a lot, and you pay agencies, and again, you don't get results. So that can be very draining.
Yep, totally agree there. As we like to say, people are the hardest thing in small business and its greatest asset, which is why we put together our 2 week Ultimate Recruitment Toolkit online course to help small business owners and their managers become better recruiters because I'm just floored by how little investment in learning and training that business owners and managers do.
Yeah.
Most important thing of a manager's job is recruitment. Because if you don't get an A player, as you well know, getting a B or a C player or a toxic arsehole slows the business down, makes it unfun, and loses your money.
And the worst thing is we think we are ignorant, basically. When we approach the business and we start to hire people from perspective of I have no skills and I will do it. So yeah, I did it and I failed a few times. So I had to learn hard way to really start to understand what we need to look at. And especially from the skills perspective, when you are the person that you are not the best marketer, okay, what you can judge, right? So definitely really important, very important in business growth.
What area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
Myself.
Hmm.
It's yeah, I believe we are because we are the business, right? We're becoming our business from beginning. And after that, we need to disconnect from that business being about us and start to, build up brand and not us. So that all those stages I think require a lot of awareness, not a little bit of, but a lot of awareness, emotional fitness and real resilience because you're going through stages in business. It's not smooth ride. It's not like having a job. It's very, very different journey. So yeah, the strength, definitely.
What have you enjoyed the least about managing fast growth?
I think I don't like when business became day to day, like a same similar operation. It becomes a little bit boring because of my personality, but I'm very aware of that. So I'm really learning, to stay and see what is happening in that boring period or the boring tasks. So yeah, when I have to spend a lot of time, I don't know, like a lot of days in front of computer, and that's it. So that's I don't really enjoy. I really enjoy to be with people. So that becomes a little bit hard for me. And sadly, that is important, right? Building the systems, processes, being on computer and Zoom meetings. So it becomes normal. Yeah.
What do you love most about growing a small business?
Opportunities, I guess mistakes, learnings, everything. I love it all because it's hard, it's challenging, and I really, really welcome challenge. And I have a very positive attitude towards challenge. So it's good. Of course, the hard times, I know after that there will be always good times. So now I learned. So I'm not stressing out that much. So definitely building up the resilience. It's fun for the crisis, challenges, and also celebration, right? When you achieve something massive is wow, like you will never probably achieve it in normal, normal job. So it is, how downs are strong, so also, the heights are strong. So I guess I like that both sides, right?
And what has been the biggest mindset shift for you on your small business growth journey?
Always being open and listen. And when somebody tells us things, sometimes we come from judgment and our subconscious mind already is in defensive mode. So I learned to stop being in the defensive mode because people have different opinions and ways of seeing things. So when I actually realized they all are right, there's no right or wrong, and all things works different way for everyone. So each person has really different experience of life. So that was a big change. And also when I realized that fear is not going to bring me success, that was the major thing. No, fear anxiety is not going to work.
The number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
There are probably few. Definitely exercise.
Mm.
I would say if you don't exercise at least 5 days a week, well, I would say start straight away because it is really helping to keep your mind in a positive mindset. And I wouldn't probably able to live without meditation now because I love meditation and breathing. And we know that our brain works the best when it's oxygenated. So I always said, just have a few seconds in the morning before you go and jump from the bed, take a deep breaths, and slow exhale so you can calm your nervous system. So I learned to go to parasympathetic nervous system more often so I can actually make good decisions, I can be prepared, and I can be calm, I can be decisive. So yeah, that will be probably the routines that I have. And healthy food. Important.
Want specific advice to help you get your business through its number one growth challenge? Book a free 20-minute growth chat with me, Troy, the founder of Grow a Small Business. I'll recommend some resources which will help you grow your business with ease so you can live the lifestyle you've signed up for. Go to growasmallbusiness.com and click on Growth Chat.
Yeah, totally agree. Now you've had four businesses, so you would have hired a lot of people over that time. Can you talk to how you've added people to the team, some wins, mistakes, and advice for those listening?
Okay, so I will go back probably when I scanned what was happening. It was very interesting. So I always was kind of happy and this excited person about life. So when I had my first business in Slovakia, I hired all my family, all my cousins, everybody was working for me, and I was so excited because all what I focus on how I can pay them more, and we had really good relationships. It was amazing. Like I really approach that hire people that they're great, they have a big heart, and we always kind of help each other on the way. So business was very successful. And when sometimes you have 200 people organizing on your event as an employees basically on the spot, so it becomes very very hard to just have someone that you don't know, you don't trust. So it was truly just through the people, knowing people, and there was no really skill that I was looking for. It was more about attitude and behavior and natural behavior and, good intention. And slowly when I was moving through businesses, I think because I got in the sport, especially first 3 years in Perth, where I went through the crisis and I started to develop a lot of fear, anxiety, stress. I was worried about everything. Like I moved from, abundance to lack mindset, and it was really hard journey. So when I was hiring people, I think that my state actually affected how I choose people, and I was choosing all the wrong people. So,
Mhm.
so that's the major things that really look at behaviors and attitudes, really talk to people, looking at them, when you talk to them, and really see how they reacted, responded in different situations, because they can always learn the skill. Like, if it's something that you can teach them as a strategy, as something analytical, very simple, or even complicated, they will just take time. But from perspective of attitude and behaviors, you can't change that so often. So I will probably say that's the major learning, to really find a way how to interview people and how to ask the right questions that you can actually judge, or you can see how they behaved and how they respond.
Yeah, two things I look for in hiring is attitude and aptitude. So exactly what you said there on attitude, but also aptitude. They've got to be smart enough to be able to pick things up quickly and teachable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
What are some of the things you recommend to building a sustainable and kick-ass culture to help with the growth?
culture starts with leader, our business owner. So I think that will be definitely my recommendation. Go and start to work through your consciousness, your awareness. Start to lift, your limiting beliefs, your fears, your worries. Start to work on yourself first, because without that, I don't think you will be able to grow great culture, because we always bring ourselves into culture. We project ourselves. And the second part is build up the processes they really support values, how I have to say it, values and behaviors that you want. So it's not enough, because a lot of companies have, they always, when I came in, it's like, oh yeah, we have values on the wall, we have values on the website, and you come to a company that has these amazing values, but there is really toxic environment. So I would say what is missing is processes and systems. So when you identify what is the quality of culture you want, how you want to, you want to have collaboration, you want to have trust, you want to have, I don't know, a great responsibility. So what are the processes and systems that support that people will live and breathe the culture? Because people's behavior is driven by processes. Processes drives people's behavior. So simple as that.
Tell our audience how you've handled balance.
Yeah, meditation, definitely, and having time for myself. If I have a busy day, I always find the time to be outside. I need to be outdoors. I love outdoors. We are close to beach, so always every day on the beach, doing my meditations on the beach in the morning, doing my Pilates exercise, doing something outdoors. And yeah, that's definitely something. And when it gets hard, I have to have movement, and I have to eat healthy, because that really grows, the energy. But again, it will be same thing with fear and anxieties. Anytime you are in fear and anxiety, you can't create balance. So being, in the good state, it's important.
How much professional development have you invested in yourself?
I'll choke my water because that's a lot. I will probably say last 10 years, because before, when I started first business, it wasn't really something that I wanted to do. It wasn't very important to me. I read some books, but not really much. So last 10 years, or 12 years, I started to learn more about, human being psychology and neuroscience, epigenetics. Love books and reading books all the time, and really enjoying that. So courses, I don't want to even mention, probably $200,000 probably by now. Yeah, I really spend a lot. I was actually becoming course junkie, and that also didn't serve me, because that's when we are scared and we think when we will learn more, we will become better. So be careful about that. I would say everyone who is listening, because we can easily got into that trap, and it just costs us a lot of money, but we have all knowledge what we need. It's just, when we start to implement that, or how.
Yeah, execution. My favorite consumer psychology book. Have you read Influence by Robert Cialdini?
Yes.
That's a great book. So many wonderful stories in there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's an amazing book.
Have you had mentors or coaches along the way?
Yes, a lot. Sometimes even coaches, keep you in the rigidness. So I would say always look for different ways of seeing things. And you have coaches, great. Sometimes I would say don't listen always to your coach, have your opinion, right? So I love when my clients argue with me. We have always a little bit of conflict, and it's amazing, right? Because we actually solve the problem, we solve the situation. And yeah, it definitely just don't allow people to manipulate you. I would say that was my kind of risk that I saw, because I trust everyone, and I'll allow to be guided, and I'm learning. But also there is still, you guys have your own head and your own brain, right? So use it. It's not on your coach to do everything.
Do you have a board of directors or advisors?
No, I don't, but I have very much a circle of people that I'm creating, always focusing on that, just having some experienced people around me.
Now, you've exited 3 businesses. Any advice for anyone listening, maybe thinking of exiting one day?
Probably build up your business the way that is not relying on you or at you. Not sure which one is correct, but yeah, just being able to delegate. That was the major thing, and create something that is separate from you. So the moment when your business has your name, it's about you. So try to grow the brand, so you can actually show that is a brand. And from the beginning, from the start point, from the first year, write down everything, build up your processes for everything. So when something works, say, okay, this works, let's put it on the paper or like, of course, in digital form and write it down as a process, because you slowly build up the processes and systems. You build up the proof of, how business works, what business can do. And when somebody's buying the business, they want all of that, right? They don't want business without processes and systems. So very important from the beginning.
All right, Alexandra, one of our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
I guess patience. That's probably what comes up.
Favorite business book which has helped you the most?
I love Napoleon Hill. That was kind of the first book to look at the business different way. Think and Grow Rich.
Yep. Napoleon Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, great book.
Very good. Yeah, very good book. And I have a lot of mindset books, so that's probably later in business what happened. I was listening and learning a lot from Michael Singer, and yeah, Surrender Experiment, amazing book.
Mm-hmm. Any great podcasts or online learning tools you use for your own professional development?
I love a few different podcasts from different areas. Of course, it's moving, throughout the part of the business, which part of the business you want to grow. And now I'm more focused on personal development and a little bit of spirituality or that emotional growth. So of course, my podcasts are a little bit different. And health, Huberman Lab, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I love his podcast because it's all about neuroscience and health and how our brain works. And love Joe Dispenza. Michael Singer, of course, he has podcasts as well. And I listen a whole bunch of podcasts. It's definitely Simon Sinek from time to time, Brené Brown when I'm looking at the leadership part. And your business podcast, right? So you have a few, you can just browse, and I always find the right thing to listen. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
We've actually got a lot of guests on from Brisbane and Gold Coast, Southeast Queensland in the last couple of years. It's amazing. And you've got your own podcast. Can you maybe mention that to the audience?
Conscious Leadership is the name of the podcast. So what we do, we focus more on really becoming conscious and conscious leader. So more aware, being open and being there for people in a different way, right? From the real awareness perspective. So helping people to understand how they can become better leaders through their own growth. And we have amazing guests, so some amazing experts from leadership or business. So whenever you also want to come, I would love to have you as a guest, Troy, because I think it's really important to talk all business, marketing, leadership, and just really, really help people if we can, of course. And I know the right people always find the episode they need.
Yeah, I'd love that. It'd be great. One tool you'd recommend to help grow a small business?
Last 2 years, the most important tool for me was meditation, was disconnection from the limiting emotions. So definitely anything that works for you. It can be meditation, it can be breath work, it can be just sitting in a calmness or mindfulness. Just really disconnect from the day to day and just have a few moments for yourself to be able to access your actually subconscious mind and your right brain, so you can actually create better. So it definitely grows performance. It really improves performance so much.
Finally, my favorite question. What would you tell yourself on day one of starting out around 20 years ago?
Oh, I will probably say just straight away, do something with yourself first before you jump to the business. And also keep the mindset of, what I had when I started was really fun. Like I really did business because I love it and it was fun. And I lost it for a while. So be sure that what you do, you love it. That's important.
Thanks, Alexandra, so much for your time. I've really enjoyed our chat. Congratulations on the growth around 20 years, 4 businesses. It's in Slovakia, Thailand, the Caribbean, and now Australia, helping a lot of business owners with their leadership and mindsets around the world. And a team of 1 starting on your own to around 5 full-time equivalents now. So congratulations on the journey.
Thank you very much, Troy. It was a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Please leave a review in iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. It means more small business owners will find our cast and help people with their business growth journey.